We are 19 days away from the midterms. Early voting has kicked off in multiple states, and candidates from both sides of the aisle are hoping to win over black voters. That key demographic could tip the scales in some crucial races. So, CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is joining us to talk a little bit about that. Nikole, what efforts are being done to engage black voters ahead of the midterms?
Well, it really runs the gamut. I mean, in terms of the parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, I mean, just today you have the DNC launching a bus tour that's going to hit about 8 key battleground states. And so that is something that is broad outreach, but certainly there will be an effort on the part of Chair Jamie Harrison to make some inroads with African-American voters. You also have the Republican National Committee launching a bus tour as well. And the RNC has also tried to set up infrastructure within certain communities with predominantly black populations, these community centers, if you will. They've also done it in a number of Latino communities to try to attract people into the community to their messaging. So those are some of the approaches on the party level. But, you know, there are a number of different coalitions out there as well that have launched efforts, whether that is the Black Voters Matter. They have a bus tour that is going through a lot of battleground states right now to really try to get the vote out among African-American voters. You have other organizations, for instance, one recently that I profiled called Black Men Vote that is making an effort to register 1 million black men by the year 2024 in time for the presidential cycle. And then you have other various civil rights coalitions that are banding together and, you know, really trying to focus on young black voters and trying to recruit people as well in terms of volunteering to try to assist their efforts in getting out the vote.
So from your experience, Nikole, meeting with some of these voters, what are the issues that seem to resonate more with black voters in particular?
Well, I wouldn't say that there are issues that resonate more so with African-American voters. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the chief concerns, no matter your race, really seem to be the economy. I mean, that's always front and center, no matter what type of voter we talk to, as well as the issue of abortion rights. You know, certainly in terms of African-American voters, depending on where you are, there does remain a lot of concern about the issue of voting rights, particularly in states like Georgia, Florida, and a number of these other southern states. So that is something that we continue to watch as well. But it really runs the gamut. But the economy, by and far, remains front and center.
So you brought up Georgia. Can we talk about Stacey Abrams? You know, after she lost her election in 2018, she really was instrumental in organizing to get out the black vote in Georgia. And many people sort of within the party credit her with flipping the state. I'm curious about how she's doing now, how critical support with black voters are for her, and whether or not, you know, whether or not they're implementing the same tactics and are they working?
Well, it's interesting, you know, and that is something that a lot of political observers are watching, in particular with this race, because it does appear to a certain extent that African-American support may have softened for Stacey Abrams. Certainly, you know, it appears, for instance, with Senator Warnock, he's pulling in a bit more support than she is right now, which, to your point, I mean, she has been instrumental in trying to galvanize voters, register new voters, and increase turnout in that state. You know, she and her team remain very confident that that playbook will work again for her. But, you know, she has been trailing in the polls as of late in Georgia, although she argues that a lot of these polls are simply just a snapshot and in some cases aren't necessarily accounting some of these critical demographics. In fact, just today, she will be doing a virtual campaign event with Oprah Winfrey. So, you know, she really is working hard to try to get her message out to all voters. But she, of course, knows that African Americans in particular, both black women and black men, are going to be critical if she, in her bid to unseat Governor Kemp. So that is certainly the focus of her campaign in terms of trying to drive that turnout in the coming weeks. And as you know, early voting is already underway in Georgia and breaking records.
Nikole Killion, thank you very much.
You bet.